Hello. This is Rhapsody, your friendly neighborhood growth hacker, aka the Reverend Dr. Rhapsody, aka Mr. Transformer, aka Rhapsody Barrero. Take two. Oh man, I hope you had a great day. If you're seeing this at the end of the day, if you're seeing this at the beginning of the day, I am hoping that your day is wonderful. And I appreciate your time spending with me today. It really means a lot. I am truly, truly grateful to you. So what we're going to be talking about today is following your passion. And the thing about following your passion, it's important because if you choose to pursue an entrepreneurial effort, if it is not something that you are passionate about, you will not have the gas in the tank that it will require for you to get through the rough times. And rough times, they are a-coming. Oh yes, I'm here to tell you, the rough times come first before the money comes. And just perfect example of that, it just reminded me, I originally started in radio just after I got out of the Marine Corps in 1989, and I was working at this traditional country station. I was there for almost 2 years working part-time, and it was nice. It was all right. It was, dipping my foot in the water, so to speak, and I left that because it's like I wasn't feeling it after a while, and I made this one error that was an error to me. I'm glad the owner didn't catch it, but I figured, I'd stop before things got bad. So, from there, I pretty much put it on a shelf for a couple of years. And I was working at a restaurant as a busser, and I ran into this wonderful young lady. Her name was Sunny, and she told me about a friend of hers that was a general manager at a radio station in Myrtle Beach. At the time, I was in Wilmington, North Carolina, and at the time, amazingly enough, this is one of those God things or divine providence, call it what you will. As it happened, I was shortly going to be going down to Myrtle Beach for a friend's wedding anyway, so I figured while I'm down there, I'll just, stop in, drop in on the guy, drop the name, spit some game, leave a copy of my demo tape, and the general manager was like, yeah, sure, come on. So I went there, and before I got started, I needed to share this with you, talking about the challenges coming first. I basically sold everything that I had that was worth anything and headed down to Myrtle Beach. I found myself a spot on the beach. I was so happy about it. Challenge was that the office was closed. It was a holiday weekend, and I wasn't able to get into my domicile until the following Monday. So I was allegedly homeless for a 3-day weekend, which wasn't the worst thing in the world. Because luckily for me, and for those who don't know my story, I've been homeless like 3 other times in life. And oddly enough, all 3 times after I got sober. As an active alcoholic, as a flaming drunk, I had no problem living indoors. But somehow getting sober and getting reintroduced to my ego, I found myself living out of doors on 3 separate occasions. But luckily for me, each time I had a vehicle that I was able to reside in temporarily, or as some of my people from the DC area refer to it as my cardominium, if you will. But anyway, so like I said, started off with a challenge. Next challenge was that they were only starting me out part-time. So I had, a day or 2 on the weekend. And luckily for me, also again, divine providence, God's hand in my life, there was a restaurant walking distance from where I lived where I was able to acquire a job bussing tables. Seems like that's a constant here, but it was just really cool that I was able to find a job walking distance from my place, the place where I was living, and during the off season. Because there's something that I found out later on, that the standard person living on the beach, what they do is they work during the season, and during the off season they collect unemployment. This never occurred to me because I'm the type of guy, I'm just like, if I can work, I will work. The idea of just collecting a check because it's off season was like just Mars or Jupiter in my head as a way to operate, but that's the way that people normally operated there, and I don't judge. You do you, boo. That's what I say. But I was blessed in that I showed up during the off season and got a job at a restaurant. And between the part-time money from the radio station and the money I got from the restaurant, I was able to live reasonably comfortably. And again, God's hand in my life. I was at the radio station for a month and a half, working part-time, and they just threw me on salary after a month and a half. Meanwhile, there had been about like 3 or 4 other people that worked there that were working part-time for like 4 or 5 years, making like $5 an hour. Of course, they made their money through promotions, through live broadcasts, because live broadcasts paid good money. None of which I got to do, but I got to say, hey, I'm on salary, look at me work. But I was the overnight guy, so, that's just how that worked out. I'm just saying that I had returned to the beach years after, during the off season, and was not able to find work. I mean, except for like a couple of temp jobs, but as far as like just regular work, that was just not to be had. But luckily that worked out in the way that it worked out. But I'm talking about passion. Because for me, I wanted to be a radio DJ since I was 10 years old. And it was I just loved the radio guys. They just had all this awesome personality, and they were just all funny and smooth and cool, depending on what station you listen to. And that was it for me. That was the bee's knees for me. Yet, amazingly enough, and for those of you who've had this experience, you know what I'm talking about. After I got put on salary at the rock station, I remember the day, like it was last week. I was about to go on my shift. I was on from midnight to 6. I was the overnight guy. And then I looked at my production bin where we make commercials, and I saw that I had like 2 hours of production work to do after I got off of my 6-hour shift. And I literally said to myself, man, this is work now. Before then, it was just fun, playing all kinds of cool songs, all the free concert tickets I could ever want, all the CDs I could eat, and, getting to meet cool people like the lady who ran the Hard Rock Cafe down there. We had a Christmas party there one year. That was pretty cool. But like I'm talking about, well, okay, oddly enough, after that 6-month point where I realized that it was actually work, I wound up writing my letter of resignation at the end of the first year. And I wrote one at the end of every year. Didn't turn it in, but I finally turned it in after the 3rd year, because the thing is, after you've been involved, I don't know, okay, maybe not you. Maybe you got good sense, but me, maybe not so much. You ever get to a point where you think that you're actually better than you actually are? Like some people say, You ever get to the point where you think your poop doesn't stink? I didn't think my poop stank. And but what moved my needle in the direction of leaving was something that happens regularly in radio. A larger company will come in, buy up your station, and fire everybody. And that's not how it worked here exactly. What happened was a larger station came in, bought up the radio station, and gave everyone else the opportunity to reapply for the job that they were already doing. Yay! So that was too much for my ego there, so I just prefer to leave that and work for a rent-to-own company. And okay, that's just that part of the story. But okay, back to passion. Radio was still my passion. I still really enjoy it. And this is part of the reason why I've finally gotten off of my duff and decided to make a video a day to help grow my channel, because this to me is the beautiful place where I can go and share my heart, share my desire to help people, and I'm not cut off by a time limit like I would be if I was, say, in a meeting somewhere, okay? And I'm not shut down by what some boss might want to say because I'm the boss, even though it's not my platform. But I am free to be me at whatever level I'm capable of being that day. I'm sure the day will eventually come where I'm like dragging butt and not really looking like I feel it. Even though my heart is still there for you, I'm here to help you. That's my main mission for being here. But I'm going to continue to do this until they say I can't anymore, because this is just super cool to me. Passion. Okay, back to that. There is this guy on YouTube, goes by the name of Rocky Kanaka. Or is it Rocky Kanaka? Yeah, Rocky Kanaka, because his last name starts with a K. And all he does is sit with stray dogs and work on building a relationship and a level of comfortability with these dogs that might have been mistreated, might have been mishandled, might not be, the nicest looking dogs in the world, but his passion is that he loves dogs. Because this is something that only a guy who is passionate about loving dogs would do. And you might think, well, wow, I mean, it's nice, but what is the potential for growth of a YouTube channel of a guy who just takes us through the process of him warming up to this strange dog in a kennel after the dog's been picked up from being a stray? Oh, I don't know. He's got 4 million subscribers. 4 million subscribers following his passion. And the thing about passions is you don't always get to start at your passion. You just don't. For me, it's like I got to doing this correspondence course that got me to be able to perform at a radio station while I was in the Marine Corps. And I got into the Marine Corps as a result of my cousin, who was already in the Marine Corps, and he was doing this, what we call recruiter's assistance thing, that they have young recruits do when they get out of boot camp so that they can extend their vacation and still be working and still be helping raise recruitment levels. So to look at it like that, it's like I began as a Marine. I had this passion since I was 10 years old. I wound up taking this correspondence course, which led me to a part-time country radio station gig that lasted almost 2 years. And the thing about this station, even at the school, they were talking all kinds of mess about this station. They were treating it like it was the lowest rung on the totem pole, and truth has it that it actually, well, it's like it was and it wasn't, because it was number 3 for the DC area at the time of country stations. Of course, there were only 3 country stations in the DC area, so it was on the bottom end of the totem pole. And the other part was that the minimum wage at the time was $4, and I started at $3.50 an hour. So they were literally underpaying me as a part-timer when I got there. And it turns out that when I left, I was making $8 an hour, which it turns out was the highest rate that I ever made working in radio at that time. So that was interesting. It reminds me of a joke. I mentioned being a part-timer. This guy that I worked with when I was doing radio in Southern Oregon, he had this lovely, lovely joke about part-timers in radio. He said, you know, the joke goes, how do you get a part-timer off your porch? Answer, pay for the pizza. Because part-timers were not known for going full-time. That's what made my situation at the rock station at the beach so phenomenal, because it was just not done. But it just worked out that way. And that's the way things can work out when you follow your passion, because you just do what's in front of you to get you to the next level, to get you to the next level, to get you to where you want to be. And at the time, there was literally nowhere else I wanted to be than being an overnight guy at a rock station on the beach, living on the beach. I mean, this is somebody's dream. Yeah, it was mine. It was one of them. I've had several dreams fulfilled since then. That was one of them. That was the first one, actually. Anyway, okay, I digress. Passion. And, okay, the next person that comes to mind, as far as like doing things in levels, Jason Capital, a young man that I mentored under several years ago, and he started his deal as a basketball coach because he was a really good ball handler, so he would train people on how to handle basketball, and then he wound up working it into a program, turned it into a program, sold the program, made $1 million, and, you know, that was that part of the story. But the thing is, that was a step. That wasn't the mission, that wasn't the passion, that was a step. The next step was wanting to get better about being with girls. So he studied like a madman, all the different ways and tricks and things to do to be able to get women. Then he was able to branch up to become America's Honest Dating Coach. That made him several $1 million. And from there, he went on to grow to become one who taught high-income skills. And when we say high-income skills, we're talking about something that pays you a lot of money for not a lot of time. Like there was copywriting, public speaking, several things. So, you know, he continues to grow how he's growing. He's living in Puerto Rico now, moved out of California, even though he still keeps a spot in California. And great guy. I really appreciate the time that I spent with him, and I was really grateful for him at the time. So what I'm saying is, find something that you're passionate about. Take steps toward following your passion in a way that can produce funds, that can create money. Like Chris Duncan says in the Magnetic Mind Masterclass that the name of the game is, it's not manifestation through like meditating for hours a day or just like, you know, carrying rocks around in your pocket. The name of the game is developing value in a way that people want to pay money for it. at a level that people want to pay money for it. So, I am more than happy to just chop it up and shoot the breeze with anybody who wants to come up with ideas or is challenged with coming up with ideas that they have a passion for. I'm just a sea of ideas that I would literally give you for free. I wouldn't even charge you my normal $500 a session coaching fee just to help you get off the ground. Because like I say, at the end of the day, I'm all about being here to help you get to where you want to be. And that's all it's going to be for today, folks. Thank you. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. In the link in the description, you will find a link to said Magnetic Mind Masterclass for a free week of the Magnetic Mind Masterclass. The program runs for a year. After a week of a taste of it, you will know that you will want this for your life. We dub it as the last personal development program that you will ever need because it is indeed and in fact the last personal development program that you will ever need. Okay? Okay. Until then, be well, my friends. We love you a long time. I will catch up with you on tomorrow's video. Until then, be well, my friend. Bye-bye, everybody. Yeah.